Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Oregon Ducks commitment sweatshirt comes back on Saturday afternoon as four-star quarterback Jonas Williams committing to Oregon in the 2026 cycle. Now, for Oregon fans, we hope the commitment sweatshirt stays on for the next couple of hours. Obviously, Trey McNutt committing at 3 p.m. Eastern time. But you look at Jonas Williams. If I were to sell the Oregon Duck fans on Jonas Williams, this is a kid that dripping with physical talent. You see that all over the film. There's not really a throw that Jonas Williams cannot make, but I think what makes you even feel better about Jonas Williams, he's already put it together at the high school level. I mean, you look at just his freshman and sophomore year, hasn't even played his junior year of high school yet, a kid that's thrown for over 70 touchdown passes during his freshman and sophomore year. When you've combined physical traits with on-field production at the high school level, you normally feel pretty good about commitments. Now, the biggest takeaway that I have with Jonas Williams committing to the Oregon Ducks is the pull that we're seeing Oregon have with offensive skill. You look at guys like Dallas Wilson, guys like DeCorian Moore, but I think more importantly, what Oregon's doing on the offensive side of the football Saturdays in the fall. You look at Bo Nix. You look at Dillon Gabriel being the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Probably two guys that go in the top 58 picks in the NFL draft at the wide receiver spot in Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson. Oregon is becoming a destination place for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. We know Dan Lanning is going to get it done on the defensive side of the football. The proof's in the pudding with Dan Lanning on defense. I think our bigger question was, can you recruit at the highest level on the offensive side of the football? It's exactly what Oregon's doing on the recruiting trail, specifically for Jonas Williams. You are going to the Midwest, beating out a top target for the Ohio State Buckeyes at the quarterback position. I think this is a massive win for Oregon, not only because you're getting a really good quarterback, but more importantly, just kind of show them what Oregon can do in terms of recruiting across the country, some of the best offensive skill talent that we see. That's my biggest takeaway. Now, I want to get into the film of Jonas Williams, talk about what he brings to this Oregon offense. Before we do, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Oregon Duck fans. It's been no secret. I've had a blast talking this program on the recruiting trail the last couple of weeks. The amount of support you guys have shown, it truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into Jonas Williams. Now, we talked about just the on-field production during his freshman and sophomore year of high school. It's extremely impressive. You don't see many quarterbacks throw for over 70 touchdowns during their first 2 years of high school football. What you're going to get with Jonas Williams is a guy that's a 4-year starter at the varsity level coming into his freshman year, assuming he stays healthy, kind of all goes as planned over the next 2 years. So you're getting a quarterback that, one, has played a lot of football at a very high level at the high school ranks. And then I think more importantly, has all the physical tools to be an elite quarterback at the collegiate level as well. 6'2", 200 pounds. This kid is absolutely put together. And you kind of look at Jonas Williams as an athlete. I wouldn't say a dual threat quarterback, but a quarterback that can certainly get it done with his legs. Kind of like Bo Nix, kind of like what Dillon Gabriel is going to ask to do, where you're not going to ask Bo Nix, Dillon Gabriel, or a guy like Jonas Williams to carry the football 15 times a game. But if you want to get them out in space, if you want to have that threat of the quarterback using the legs, Jonas Williams can give you that within this offense. It just gives Will Stein, the offensive coordinator, just more ways to attack opposing defenses. He's phenomenal throwing off platform, throws with all sort of different arm angles. There's really not a throw that Jonas Williams cannot make on the football field. That's what makes him so dangerous within this Oregon offense. You start taking a look into the film. The film's a blast to watch. He is spraying the football all over the field for a kid that's only a sophomore year in high school. That's my biggest takeaway. One, getting outside the pocket, being an athlete, setting your feet off platform, throwing an absolute dime to the back of the end zone. These throws that Jonas Williams makes are just such high level. He attacks the deeper third exceptionally well. And the kid's a gamer. You kind of look at this one, it's hard to find sophomore quarterbacks that are willing to step up into the pocket. And you take a look at Jonas Williams, keeping his eyes downfield, managing the pocket exceptionally well, keeping his eyes downfield, continues to. He's an athlete. He could probably take this football and run with it. Keeps his eyes downfield, delivers a strike, again, to the back of the end zone, dropping it in a bucket. You talk about accuracy, attacking the deeper third. Jonas Williams can certainly do that. Again, he's not necessarily a dual threat quarterback, but he's a guy that if you have an unblocked blitzer, he can make a miss, keep his eyes downfield, and make just a silly throw to the boundary, again, off platform, on a rope, one spot you can make it, and he puts it right there. This is a really impressive throw for Jonas Williams, too. This is not necessarily a flashy throw, but it is an extremely hard throw to make. Opposite hash to the boundary. You're throwing this football long distance, but you also have to layer it in there because you see that underneath defender in that zone spot. You got to be able to get it over that defender, but before the safety can crash down. Kind of one of those hole spots against that cover 2 defense. Jonas Williams doing a phenomenal job doing that too. So I think one of the things that stands out is just the amount of different throws that Jonas Williams can make. Operating in the red zone, extending plays, being an athlete. Again, when you get to the red zone, those throwing windows get a little crunched down. Jonas Williams is a guy that, I mean, he can make it happen with his legs. You continue to work through the film. I think another thing you see is just the command of the offense. I mean, the football normally is getting out very quickly, on time, and accurate. That's one of the things that kind of separates just really talented quarterbacks to being really good college football quarterbacks. Again, really, really impressive. I mean, these throws are not necessarily flashy on the film, but these throws, a lot of quarterbacks just can't make these kind of throws. Opposite hash to the boundary. There's not a ton of separation. You have to get this into a small window, and you got to put some juice on it. And Jonas Williams, as a sophomore in high school, has that kind of arm juice to make it happen. You look at Oregon in the 2026 class. Hey, we talk about what they have in the 2025 cycle. It's going to be a very good recruiting class, potentially getting better later this afternoon. But you take a look at 2026, Dan Lanning knows what he's doing. If you want to consistently compete for national championships, you got to stack really good classes. You look at Georgia consistently stacking top 5 classes in the country. You look at Oregon, top 4 class in 2024. You look at the 2025 class, we kind of expect it to be a top 5 class heading into 2025. And then 2026, you already got 3 commitments, all of which are top 150 prospects. I mean, Oregon is just filling this roster with blue chip talent, and they're going everywhere to do it. And you look at Tony Cumberland right in your backyard, you hit your layup in the 2026 class. You look at Tredarian Ball, one of the more coveted running backs in the class, going all the way to the state of Texas. Shout out Rashad Samples to get that done. Then you go to the Midwest and land one of the top quarterbacks in that region from the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is what you want to see from Dan Lanning in this Oregon Ducks program. They're stacking classes. They're using the transfer portal exceptionally well. You kind of look at the quarterback runway, obviously Dylan Gabriel in 2024, and then you look at probably Dante Moore in 2025. Then you look at 2026, you have Achilles Smith, who will be a second-year guy. You got Jonas Williams coming in as a freshman. You're probably going to have Austin Novosad if you can hang on to him. The quarterback room's getting talented for Oregon, and over the next couple of years, you feel really good that this Oregon quarterback room is going to be a very, very competitive group. We'll cut it there. Hopefully, recording again for the Oregon Ducks, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.